You are Locked On Nuggets Postcast, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Nobody said it was going to be easy as the Denver Nuggets fall to the Los Angeles Clippers in Game 6 with an opportunity to close this series out and get ready for Oklahoma City, and the Denver Nuggets lose to the Los Angeles Clippers. Your final score here, 111-105. This is your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Hope everybody is hanging in there out there as the Denver Nuggets, as I mentioned, fall to the Los Angeles Clippers. It looked good at the start. It did not look good at the end, and it feels like we're back in 2022 with the third quarter issues plaguing the Denver Nuggets tonight, as well as the second quarter. So plenty to get into here tonight on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Hope everyone is doing well out there. And tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. This episode, like I said, is brought to you by them. Turn any TV into your Xbox, no console needed. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. I'm not surprised. I'll come out and say that right now. I am not surprised that the Denver Nuggets lost this game. You know, and it's easy to kind of be jazzed up and excited and feeling good, you know, after a Game 5 victory in the manner in which the Nuggets did end up winning that game. I mean, just stomping the Clippers from wall to wall. They never had a lead in that game. Never did the Clippers. And, you know, that was my big question is, can Denver carry over some momentum? Will the Nuggets be able to package that together and come out and take care of business and, you know, win the darn game and win the darn series, you know, and not allow the Clippers to force this Game 7 and kind of get on with it. But that is not the case here tonight. And look, you expect the Los Angeles Clippers to throw their best punch when their backs are against the wall at home, right? This is why home court advantage is so important, because at least now Denver gets their Game 7 in their building, which could be huge. But you expected that from the Clippers tonight to be much better than they were in Game 5. And, you know, I mean, the story of the game is James Harden showed up. You know, James Harden showed up, and he wasn't the only one. Kawhi, among some others, really played a nice game here for the Los Angeles Clippers. So here is our
time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And that is indeed the turning point. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Norman Powell, who finally woke up in this series, combined for nearly 80 points of offense between the three of them. The Clippers finished with 111. And I mean, looking at some of the other stats from some of these other guys, you know, Zubac, you know, another down game for him, only 6 rebounds once again. I mean, he's averaging 12.5 rebounds a game this season. 10 points for him. Chris Dunn with 2 points, you know, and Batum put up 6. Derrick Jones Jr. with 8, and Bogdan Bogdanovic with 6 points off the bench as well. So it comes down to the Los Angeles Clippers' best players, specifically Kawhi and James Harden, played like star players tonight. And Norman Powell was able to mix in, you know, a little bit of that magic that we've seen from him throughout the course of the season. And that's ultimately, when you look at why Denver lost this game, you look at those 3 players, you look at the second and third quarters, and you look a little bit at the end of the game and the late game execution. I mean, Denver was in this thing to the very end. We'll get to Russell Westbrook here in just a moment as well. But now you got to go back to Denver for Game 7. That's kind of the easiest way to put it, is you got to have to wipe this one off the slate and get ready to play for a game for your season. And the Clippers now have some momentum. They're feeling good. Okay, maybe they think they figured something out, right? And, you know, we'll have to see if Denver's going to be able to respond now. And, you know, looking at some of these numbers tonight for the Denver Nuggets, you know, and David Adelman said this in his post-game press conference as well, you know, he needs Jokic to be more aggressive. And, you know, Jokic has a nice game tonight, 25, 7, and 8. But we haven't seen that peak MVP version of Nikola Jokic really outside of that third quarter in Game 4. So we're still waiting for the Jokic like explosion game where he shows why he's the best player in the world. Hopefully that's coming in Game 7. So, you know, he did a good job. You know, you can't be upset at 25, 7, and 8. But David Adelman, like I said in his post-game presser, he didn't call Jokic out, but he's looking for Joker to be more aggressive. And frankly, There's this conversation, talked about it on Denver Sports Radio. I've talked about it on, different people amongst the media, fans alike, that, well, the Denver Nuggets are at their best when Nikola Jokic isn't the leading scorer and he's a facilitator. And while I do agree with that 9 times out of 10, more so in the regular season, now that we're here in Game 7 and we're looking Game 7 in the face, Nikola Jokic needs to be an apex predator out there. Nikola Jokic needs to hunt his shot. Nikola Jokic needs to be selfish. And by doing that, I think you'll open up these other opportunities for Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., Christian Brown, among some others, right? So we'll see how it all goes for Denver now in Game 7. And it was interesting, right? Because Jamal off the rip there in the first quarter, some weird defensive looks the Clippers were throwing at him, but like in regards to maybe not a lot of defense on Jamal Murray, which I thought was surprising. I mean, he had 9 points in the first quarter, and he finishes with 21 points, 9 of 19 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. So, you like that from Jamal Murray. But again, just not enough, across the board. And, Michael Porter Jr., who's been pretty good this series, all things considered, with what he's dealing with injury-wise, was a no-show tonight. 5 points for MPJ, 1 of 2 from 3, 5 boards, no assists, 2 steals, and a team worst -24. And there's a reason why Michael Porter Jr. only played 24 minutes in this game. And, it's kind of where we're at. You got to take the good with the bad. And, I thought Peyton Watson, he needs to work on his finishing for sure. But I thought, in the 11 minutes that he played, I thought he was somewhat effective tonight for Denver. And Russell Westbrook tonight with 35 minutes played, he finishes with 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. So, and I know there's a lot of people that are up in arms about, Russell Westbrook and, why is he playing so much? And I mean, as I've been on record saying, you got to take the good with the bad with Russ. I mean, he bricked an open layup there that would have made it a 4-point game with 2 minutes and change left to play, and then bricked another that would have made it a 5-point game, or a 5 or 6 point game rather, with like 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the game. So obviously Russ tonight in the clutch, not great. You wish he'd be a little bit better, but I'm not putting this loss on Russell Westbrook. I'm looking at the Nuggets defense as a whole, as it pertains to this loss now against the Los Angeles Clippers. So it is what it is. Like I said, you got to take the good with the bad. And it's a frustrating loss, but, thankfully Denver was able to win games 4, games 5, and they put themselves in a position knowing that they had a game to spare. And now it's going to be up to them to look themselves in the mirror come Saturday evening and get ready to play this Game 7 and see what they can do. I am so curious as to how Denver plays in that game. Are they tight? Do they have, PTSD from the Minnesota game last year? We'll talk about that here in just a moment as well. Or do they play confident? Do they play loose? Do they play like they did in Game 5? That remains to be seen. But, okay, let's hit our break. When we come back, we will continue along with the conversation. If you're out there on YouTube, appreciate y'all as always. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Let me know how you're feeling out there. Are you worried about Denver in Game 7? What are your thoughts on this game? Let me know. We'll have some fun here when we come back right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Back in just a moment, folks. Okay, you guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to go. Dive into hundreds of premium titles, including EA Sports College Football 25, Call of Duty, among some others, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. What if you could jump into your favorite Xbox titles without needing your console in every room? How do you game when you're not in front of your main TV setup, hotel stays, family visits, or even just the bedroom? Fire TV Stick 4K makes it possible to keep playing from almost anywhere. How do you currently stream your content, and how much smoother could it be with a faster, ready-to-go 4K ready streaming stick? Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller are required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube, third gen. Be sure to Amazon Fire. Happy. Okay, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Anilo Piro. Hope everybody is hanging in there out there after the Denver Nuggets tough Game 7 or Game 6 loss. Ooh, don't want to jinx that. It was a tough way to lose a basketball game here tonight. But again, not surprising. Getting into some of the numbers, I mentioned it earlier in the show. It was the Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden show. They combined for nearly 80 points between the three of them. And, this game got off to an interesting start because Denver led 28-25 there after the fourth quarter. And then the Clippers just come out in the non-Jokic minutes, which have obviously been a problem and have plagued this Denver Nuggets team for as long as Nikola Jokic has been the starting center on this team. And they respond with a 33-29 quarter. Not as bad as maybe it seems on paper, but it really put the Clippers into this ball game and helped them command them, help them kind of command themselves to this victory. And what's interesting is one of my buddies in the media texted me this. The fact that Denver was only leading by 3 when the Clippers were only 1 of 10 from deep in the first quarter. That's where you could see the writing on the wall a little bit with this Denver Nuggets team is when the Clippers aren't hitting 3-point shots and you're only up 3 with Jamal Murray hunting his own shot there in the first quarter. I mean, Denver realistically should have, hopefully been up double digits at that point, if not more. And that was not the case. So, you allow the Clippers to hang around. And, as I mentioned, earlier as well, the third quarter, has been a long-standing problem with the Denver Nuggets. Not as bad as it has been in years past, but tonight it's like they turned back the clock a little bit. I mean, the Clippers outscored the Nuggets in the third quarter tonight, 32-22. And then Denver outscores the Clippers 26-21 in the fourth. But again, too little, too late, too much pressure to an extent on this Denver Nuggets team to rally and try to get the job done there. So, looking at some other metrics here tonight, Denver actually shot the 3-point ball much, much better than the Clippers, which I think makes this loss even a little bit more disheartening. I mean, the Nuggets tonight were 40% from 3, 11 for 27. The Clippers, though, did make more threes. They were just 12 for 39, so not as efficient. That's 30.8%. And the other thing here, and I know they didn't get a lot of them tonight, the free throws have been an issue, have been a real issue for the Denver Nuggets in this series. I mean, they shot 66.7% tonight from the free throw line. They only had 9 attempts. They made 6 of them. But still, I mean, we haven't seen a free throw percentage. It feels like the Nuggets have been in the 60s in their free throw percentage all series long. That's not going to win you many basketball games, folks. It's the reality of the situation with this Denver Nuggets team. Like those are the things that they can control that result in them shooting themselves in the foot here a little bit. And, some other things that have been a consistent kind of theme throughout this series, especially in the losses, is the turnovers. Denver had 14 turnovers tonight compared to just 7 for the Clippers. Again, that's losing basketball. And Denver led by as many as 7, but the Clippers, were playing like a team with a little bit of desperation, a team that knew that their season would end. And I'm not surprised that the Clippers, like I said, came out that way. But I did question the will and the desire of this team, right? I mean, James Harden is not exactly a playoff riser. Kawhi Leonard, has kind of been there and done that in his career, won multiple NBA finals, has won NBA finals MVP multiple times. Not saying that you're going to expect them to roll over and die, but if Denver was able to put the pressure on them like they did in the first quarter and they were able to keep their foot on the gas throughout the course of the game, I mean, I could have seen it, but hang around. Jokic goes out and the Clippers take advantage of it. It's frustrating. It is, but again, not surprising. I mean, the Nuggets have been so bleeping inconsistent throughout the course of the season that you almost have to expect them to continue to flip-flop. So with that, though, right, down game in Game 6, hopefully due for a big win in Game 7. And I do think that the Nuggets want the Thunder. I do not think the Nuggets are necessarily, quote unquote, afraid of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that it would be an incredible matchup. I'd much rather see Nuggets Thunder than I would see Clippers Thunder. And maybe that's because I'm biased because I live in Denver and I cover the Nuggets for a living. But I don't know, man. Jokic SGA, I mean, it would just be absolute cinema. But we got to get there first. Denver's got to figure out a way to win Game 7. And I think it starts with Nikola Jokic being aggressive, Jamal Murray being the Robin to Jokic's Batman, Christian Brown slowing down James Harden, and getting, I don't even want to say solid contributions off the bench because we kind of know what the bench is, but really just playing smart basketball. Up the ante at the free throw line. Stop playing sloppy. Don't turn the ball over as much. These are the intangibles. These are the things that the Denver Nuggets have to do if they want to keep their season alive. And David Adelman probably has to have a short leash with some stuff. He's got to come out, Can't let the refs get in your head. I know he was complaining about the refs a lot tonight after the game. You got to go out there and put your best foot forward. So we shall see. But folks, that is going to do it for me. Really appreciate y'all as always tapping in here on the Locked On Nuggets postcast. You can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well on your way out the door. The Los Angeles Clippers rally to take down the Nuggets in a must-win game for LA. 111-105 is your final score. Game 7 coming up on Saturday at Ball Arena. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be a fun one. Enjoy the rest of your night, folks. Talk to you guys on Saturday.